In the last 60 days, I have 10x my marketing output using nothing but Claude. And by the end of this video, you're gonna have the 5-step process so you can do the same. All you have to understand is what I will teach you in this video, which is setting up your Claude workspace correctly, seeing where and where not to use the technology, how to get in live data, the right skills and plugins, and finally, how to have a live feedback loop so everything improves over time. So instead of paying crazy agency fees or salaries for your employees, you can run a lean, profitable, highly efficient marketing team with just Claude. Here's how it works. Now, before I get into it, I'm not saying crash and burn your team. I'm not saying just cut everyone and use AI. No, that's not how it works. Anyone that is selling you that is lying to you. And there's a lot of that online right now. I'm saying you could significantly reduce the headcount and increase the efficiency of the few core killers that you have. All right. This is business. Yes, some people might be replaceable. That's up to you. But you could run in a super efficient team with AI. So this is not all AI doing marketing. This is a team, few killers plus AI doing the marketing. It's insane what you could do. And just to prove it out yourself, you're on my YouTube channel right now. Guess where I started rolling out this strategy? Right here. I started rolling out this Claude strategy right here. And look at all of this takeoff since then. I think I got 300 to 500 leads last month for my agency, a marketing agency, and Claude did all of the ideation and stuff for me. I didn't hire anyone extra in this time. Actually, I let go of 1 or 2 people and empowered a few other people on my team with Claude, right? So that's how powerful it is. You have to make your own decisions about your team, but this is what is possible. Now, you should be thinking about the combination of this AI technology with your current employees is 2 different ways. There's 2 different types of empowerment. One is you elevate a junior talent. Second is you free senior talent. All right, so sort of 2 sides to the same coin. What I really like about this is I'm able to build complex processes, vibe code solutions using Claude, which I'm going to dive into, and just give them to someone that is less talented. Because to pay for talent is a high expense. That is what most agencies can't scale because you have to pay for really expensive talent. I'm talking 6-figure salaries if you're here in the States. That is hard. So what you could do, instead of hiring massive talent, you could build a really powerful AI system and have junior talent manage it. So you're getting the outputs of really effective, awesome talent, but for a cheaper price because you're using AI combined with a lesser talent, okay? Same thing is with freeing senior talent. So instead of the senior talent doing all these crazy tasks, you free up their time so they could do what they're good at, and then AI could take care of the rest of it. So those sort of 2 sides to the same coin again, but that is what you could do. And again, you could 10x the output instead of 10xing the headcount. So the agency model is super attractive right now. It's never been a better time to build. Now, the 3 tools we're gonna be using are under one unified brain, which is the Claude ecosystem, right? So Anthropic's core model is Claude. Claude has Claude Desktop, which is this. This is the desktop app. You have chat at the top, you have Cowork, and then you have Claude Code, which is Claude Code right here. And then finally, you have the Claude API, which is taking the API and giving it to an external service. We're not going to be reusing this one as much. We are going to be focusing on Claude Desktop and Claude Code. By the way, guys, code, do not let this scare you. It is not coding. Claude itself codes. All you do is prompt it. That's all. All right, so don't let that scare you. We're going to touch on that briefly, but for the majority of this, we're going to stay in the Claude Desktop. This is just your general chat, your Cowork chat, etc. And if you do not know the difference between chat and Cowork and code and all the settings on the left and the right, there's a lot going on. We're going to cover a lot of that in this video. Check out my other videos about a true comparison to see which best is for you, especially if you're an agency owner or you're a marketer. Now, the first thing we are starting with is this. This is your knowledge base. You cannot continue with this video without setting this up. Your knowledge base has 2 interfaces, right? So it's one thing, but you can interface it in 2 different ways. You could use it in your desktop projects, which is over here. You could use it here. You could also use it Claude Code, which is on your computer. You'll have a markdown file named Claude in your computer, so Claude Code could use it. So desktop, Claude Desktop could use it, Claude Code could use it. Same file, 2 different ways that Claude could reference it, all right? This doesn't make sense. Don't worry about it. Just make sure you are setting up your knowledge base, brand voice, ICP, content strategy, competitors, analytics. And how do you do that? It's super simple. It's by mapping the context of your competition and yourself. And this is the infrastructure portion, all right? This is super important. None of the bells and whistles and plugins and skills I'm going to cover in this video matter if you do not set this up properly. You have to build the foundation, which is mapping, giving it context, and then competition. Mapping is just giving Claude a deep understanding of your business. Context is giving it connectors to the outside world and live data. And then competition is giving Claude awareness of people in your niche that are doing the same thing as you. Think about how you would do anything in your business. You would first understand what you're doing, then you would understand the actual numbers of your business, and then you would compare this against your competition. That's all we're doing with Claude here. That's literally it. Now, these 4 core documents are the ones you want to create. I'm gonna give you a brief prompt here in a second. It's going to be what's going to help you build out the knowledge base using one simple prompt. And then there's also some other supplementary information we'll be covering. If you want to grab this, it'll be completely free down below. But these 4 documents, they're super important. A very brief overview is one, is your brand voice. So this is what you sound like, what you want to sound like. Literally just take sales calls, take the transcriptions and give it to Claude so it understands your brand voice. Next is your content strategy. That's pretty self-explanatory. Pillars, positioning, all those different things. Next, and this one is probably the most important one for my business owners. Who are you targeting? Who are they? Where are they? What do they look like? What do they believe in? All these different things. You need to give Claude this information. And then finally is just like your funnel, right? So do you do webinars? Do you do D2C? Do you do B2B, BDC? Like, what do you do? Just give Claude these documents, and you don't have to necessarily tell Claude everything off the top of your head. You could ask Claude to interview. Say, hey, Claude, this is all about my business. I'm sure I'm missing things. Ask me some questions. I'll get you those answers, and we'll go back and forth until you have no more questions for me. Now we have formulated these 4 documents. All right, so do it interview style and just make sure all of this is being given to Claude in those 4 core documents, because everything built on top of these 4 documents, everything like those 4 things I just showed you, everything is built on top of these 4 documents. You need them. All right, because the next steps can be building on top of this. If you're building on top of a bad base, the whole house is going to fall down, if you will. So once you have the knowledge base, we're going to pass that to live data. And why I'm drawing this out here is because this is all going to make a lot more sense. This is understanding. So like from Claude's point of view, this is you, this is Claude. Claude understands, and now it knows you, your current situation once you do this. So it's going from a high level understanding to a live understanding of exactly what's going on. And this is connecting Claude to live data. There's a few ways you could do this. Windor is a great platform for your social media and some other analytics like Google Analytics, etc. You have Airtable if you're doing a lot of stuff in Airtable, or you have your Google Workspace, which is your Gmail, your Drive, your calendar. Most people, this is going to be applicable because everyone uses Google. So you can just plug this in automatically. I'll show you how to do that in a second. Airtable, if you use that, CRM, wherever, just wherever your live data is stored, you're going to connect this to Claude, and Claude has many options. Let me show you how to set that up. And again, we're doing this so it knows your reality currently as much as it can. You're going to go to your Claude, you're going to go to your settings, you're going to go to connectors, browse connectors, and look at all these different things. I'm sure a lot of you guys are using a lot of these services. We have Hugging Face, I'm probably not going to use that. Figma, if you're there, Notion, Stripe, Supabase, Wix, Miro, and the list goes on. So if you want something, let's say, for example, Canva, there you go. Slack, there you go. Let's do Gmail. You're going to hit connect. It's going to prompt you to log into Gmail, and now you're connected. It's really that easy. Now, if you go back and you go to a new chat, to understand that it's connected and Claude is referencing this live data, you're going to go to connectors and you're going to see these here and just make sure these are toggled on. So now I could say, hey, Claude, grab all of my emails for today, and it's going to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm not going to bring those up because I don't want to show my emails, but that is all you have to do. Drive, calendar, Gmail, whatever you want. That is how you're going to add live connectors. So now Claude understands your business because you set up the knowledge base. Now it's like, okay, this is this guy's business or girl's business. Now this is where they are right now. Now when you pair that with your goals, you can see the gap and it'll help you crush that gap. If you're at 10K a month and want to get to 50K a month, you can see that discrepancy. Now it can work towards that. But it doesn't know the live data unless you give it a connector. All right, so that is super, super important to do that. That's step number 2. Step number 3 is understanding the landscape. What does this mean? It knows your knowledge base. It can see where you actually are, but you, just yourself, that's not a very big sample size. So understands you, understands your current situation, now understands where you are in relation, I should say. So if you're at 10K a month and all your competitors at 100K a month, you're probably doing something wrong, which is fine, but Claude now knows that. If you're at 100K a month and all your competition is at 10K a month, well, you're crushing everyone. So you might be doing something amazing, like you double down on that. But Claude now understands the landscape, and this is by tracking your competition, doing outlier detection, and doing ICP research, doing competition research. This is a little bit more complex to set up, but this is how you can think about going about doing that. So if I bring up my Claude code here, I'm using Claude code in VS Code. I am going to go ahead and just hit competitors. Competitors offers. Let's do that. What this is going to do, this is going to go to all of my competitors, look at all of their offers, all their social media, and it's going to give me an end-to-end report about every single thing my competitors changed in the last week. I'm going to show you how this is doing it. It's going to just roll through everything here. But how do you go about setting this up? All right, step number 1 is just grab 20 to 30 competitors. All right, grab their website, socials, reviews online. The more the better. And Claude can do this for you. I'll show you how to do that in a second. I don't want to do these because you probably know your competition off the top of your head, so you can just grab these. The next thing you're going to want to do is just put them in one single list. Literally just put all of these links in one list. 3, and I'm not joking when I say this, is once you download Claude and you're running it correctly, by the way, if you're not installing Claude Code correctly, or if you don't know how to do that, I have another video on my channel of how to install Claude Code and run it as a marketer from an agency point of view, so make sure you watch that video. We'll have this list, give it to Claude Code, literally, and you're gonna say, here's a list of my competition, Claude. I would like you to go ahead and set up a competition tracker that does XYZ every X time frame. That's all you're gonna say. Now, the voice transcription didn't work there. That's what you're gonna say. You can say grab, track comp for XYZ at XYZ time. So track their pricing page every Friday. Track their YouTube page every Saturday. Track their reviews and when it's updated every Sunday to see what's working, what's not. That is all you're gonna do. Claude Code is going to do all the ugly work, which is this. This is the ugly stuff. I don't know how to code. You don't know how to code either, but you could just see live right here, guys. 43 channels scanned, 3 changes detected, meaning from the last week I ran this, because I run this every week, 3 of my competitions changed their offers. My competitors, they changed their offers. Because I told it every single week, track my competition, track their offers, and I'll run this manually. So you can put it on the schedule or you can run it manually. All right, so while Claude Code is going, I'm gonna go back to Claude Cowork. And if you have questions, please drop it down below. Again, make sure you're downloading the free resource. This should help you out a little bit on your way to setting this up. But another thing we can do is hop back into Claude Desktop. If you're not familiar with code and you don't know what's going on over there, go to Claude Cowork at the top. You see something like this. On the left, you have scheduled. All right. So what you could do is also create a scheduled task. So it'd be competition monitor my competition every Sunday morning. Check the reviews of my competition on Trustpilot every Sunday morning and give me a report as to who left a review, what business they run, and all the bad reviews, send them to me as well so I can improve my service to beat my competition. All right, there we go. You put it to weekly, Sunday at 9 a.m. There you go. You'll hit save and the whole thing will be done for you. That is literally it. Now the prompt will have to be much better. Again, we cover some of the prompting techniques right here, but that is all you have to do. So for example, I have a marketing morning brief that's running. It's running right now because I didn't have my computer open at 9:01 this morning. But what the marketing brief is going to do, it's going to give me a brief of my marketing every single morning. So I read it, I could see what's going on. It's really that simple. Now, I don't use Claude Cowork. I'm honestly too deep in Claude Code right here. I just think it works a little bit better. But again, if you're not technical and this is more important for you or this is more comfortable for you, do this. I'll show you this in a second, but that's how easy it is to create a scheduled task that runs for you every single day. And if you want more in-depth setup guides and ready to go plug and play templates, check out our AI marketing community down below. I'll make sure to link it first thing in the description. It's everything I've learned in the past 1 year, doing over 7 figures for my clients and myself, using strategies just like this. If you have questions, either comment them. If you want one-on-one direct support, you could check out that community down below. Now, if I go back to the morning marketing brief, it's still running. It's looking at my competition. It's looking at trends in the market. It's going to write the brief, and I'll just show this live to you while this finishes up. All right, this is done as well. Beautiful. Let me show you this. And then I'll go back to one thing at a time here. I feel like Tony Stark when I'm working. All right, this is still working. So this is the competitor offer intelligence. And this is part number 3. Again, knowing the landscape. And this is how we set it up. Knowing the landscape gave me this. So Sean changed his offer. Patrick added a live sign up. So this guy's probably pushing a new type of offer. These guys are now selling a SaaS product. Interesting. Tim Ciogru is now selling a SaaS product. Everyone's selling SaaS. So this is something I noticed. 17 out of the 43 competitions I'm tracking are having a paid school community. 12 offer an agency. And you can sort of see, how cool is this? I didn't do anything. It's going through all the landing pages, everything for me. It could be sneaky and I can see exactly what everyone's doing and I can use it to my advantage. All right. That's why I decided to create a school community. I had high-ticket agency services for the last 3 years, but now I'm doing a school community because not only can I not help everyone, like I can't sell everyone on a 5, 10K package, it's not realistic, but now it's a proven monetization route for my agency because other people are doing it in my same niche. So that's the power of that. And finally, to wrap this back up, this is an example of a morning brief. So you could have this also in something like a Cowork. This is a morning brief for my marketing, but this could be for your competition. So my morning brief is set up to give me essentially trend summaries every single day, content ideas for the day, YouTube titles for the day, and a watch list of what to do. All right, I'm not going to dive into that because that's not the topic of this video, but you can sort of see in Cowork, you have scheduled tasks that you could schedule anything else. In Claude Code, you also have things that you could schedule at, or you could run with a simple slash command. It's really in-depth and it works really well. So this is how you can know your landscape and understand your competition. And when it comes down to actually building these things, this is how you should be thinking about it. One skill per channel, but one brain behind every skill. All right. So you have one brain. Again, this is your knowledge base, live data. This is stuff we all just set up. Live data pumped into the knowledge base, competition pumped into the knowledge base. You'll have one source of truth and then different skills. YouTube skill, IG skill, cold calling skill, ads skill, UGC skill. You get to the point, right? That's why we set this up in this order, because when you build, you'll have one brain powering everything. So again, I have a YouTube skill. My YouTube skill just created this entire script, entire presentation. It's gonna edit the video for me. It's gonna do my thumbnail for me as well. Yeah, it's that crazy. My YouTube skills, my LinkedIn skill, short form, newsletter, cold outreach, you get the point, right? But it's all funneling from this knowledge base with our competition and with our live data. That's why it works so well. That's why these videos actually get me leads and make me money. And that's why hopefully one of you guys are gonna work with me to install the same thing. If you wanna check that out, you can check out our link down below. I should say, yeah, within each one of these is like sub skills as well. So you could have a bunch of different like sub skills under one larger skill. I think it's pretty complex, but sort of understand the point there. So this is my YouTube pipeline. I obviously have a skill for each one of these, pretty easy. And every skill has the same brain. So if I write a YouTube script and then a LinkedIn post and then a newsletter and then my cold email, doesn't matter because it has one source of truth. It's all working with this. That's it. It's not necessarily talking to each other. That's not the right language, but it's all referencing this. And that is powerful. All right, next, once you've thought about building it and you've done the hard work, you've gone in the trenches, you've built all this. Again, if you want this built for you, check out our link in the bio. I have a call to book with me. We could talk about doing that. But now, once it's alive, it's not done, right? You need to refine it. This is AI. A lot of people are selling you a dream online. That's not the truth. You need to refine this. Building it will get you like a 3x lift on what you're doing. Refining it will get you a 10x lift. And all that refining is, and this is one of the best parts, especially that's why I like working on Claude Code so much. If I did not like the way this looks, I could just say, hey, Claude, I do not like the way that you outputted this. Let's go ahead and change X. Let's change Y. Let's try to find 7 more channels to scan next time. Let's maybe draw me an interactive diagram every single time. That's what I would say. I would say also update your knowledge base and your skill so that every single time we regenerate this, I don't have to repeat my feedback to you. And that's what I would say. So now Claude will take in that feedback, and then every single time going forward, we'll do that. So that is what refining is. You need to refine based on the quality of the output, the actual result of the output, and just see if you like it or not. The best ways to refine are just more training data. So above, we gave it training data and live data. Give it as much as you possibly can. Give it live data access, sort of similar things here. And give it an iteration loop. This one is also super powerful. All an iteration loop is, especially with my social media, I have my Claude YouTube skill that gets passed to an output. I use that output and post on YouTube. Like for example, let's take this video, for example. YouTube, let's just say that's spelled right. Claude scale generated this video. That's the output. I post this output to YouTube, which is where you're watching it right now. Once this is posted to YouTube, I'll have a feedback loop. All right, so did this video do well? No. Did it get views? Did it get leads? Yes. Then it's a good video because I don't care about views. I want leads. So they'll feed it back to Claude and say, hey, videos like this, outputs like this, make more of them. So it's a self-fulfilling cycle there. Same with ads, same with outreach, anything. That's why this is so amazing, because if you could feed it with live data, feed it back with live data on a continuous iterated loop, there's a lot of words, it will work really well. And that is the power of doing this. Let me know if this makes sense. Comment down below. This is a huge, huge unlock. And by the way, if you're getting a value out of this, you learn something new, leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a lot because I post a video like this every other day, long form. But that is what you want to do. And that is how you're going to actually refine. You could really get a huge lift, guys, from 3x to 10x to 30x once you refine these systems. There's a lot of dopamine that gets released once you build it out. You're like, oh, I'm done. No, you have to refine. That is where the massive gains in efficiency are made. And the compounding effect of this is insane. It's truly compounding, right? First, you did this thing manually your whole life. That's how it looked before. Now you built a system and it's like, oh, it's pretty good. Like it's working well. But now you refine the system over time. So you refine here, you refine here, you refine here. Now it starts to look like this. Seriously, you could achieve some exponential blow off top, crazy results once you actually start to do this, especially when it comes to content. Content compounds over time. So like these are my views in the past, 90 days. So the last 30 days, I basically did more than I did in the last 3 months combined, because things compound, especially when you keep on iterating and refining them. Next, we have the analytics, which is just like refinement, but just with data. So you could run diagnostics of what's working, and then you can interpret the insight. So you could pass Claude Code to Claude Desktop. Now, just ignore this for right now. I don't want to confuse you guys. You could use either one. It doesn't matter. The logic here is that you run a diagnostic, you get the numbers, and then you pass that to interpreting the insights. So Claude will get a number like 3,000 views a month. It's just a number to Claude. What does that mean? Now, it'll either ask you that, or if you train it, it will know what that means. That could be good, that could be bad, or that could not matter at all, depending on what your goals are, right? So you just want to use data for a feedback loop. And again, if you make one insight, so if you see one little insight, it could change everything. You can have a video like this is YouTube related, it could do really bad, and you can make the same video for a new topic like Claude instead of NAN, and it'll do well, all right? And these are these little tweaks that we use data for, live data for, competition analysis for, analytics for, all the things we've been talking about so far. So the feedback loop is you create, you measure, you learn, you adjust. Measuring is actually getting the data and then drawing conclusions from the data, and you adjust and you feed that back to the next creation. And this way you get this loop that actually works. And finally, in the context of scaling this system, it's pretty simple. You run the skills, you give it to someone, and then you have a senior person make the skills better. So the junior person, the less talented person, actually runs the skills, which again, they don't even really need to understand what's going on. They just need to be able to click buttons to some extent. So now you have the senior doing a really good job, putting his knowledge into skills, and the junior running the skills. And that's how you get something that's hyper efficient. You could cut down your headcount, still keep your core team, and increase the efficiency, profit, margins, everything of your business. If you want to think about it in terms of social media, you want to start with one channel, prove it out, and then move on from there. Don't overwhelm yourself when you just start, to sort of nail them piece by piece, because once you nail one, you could apply the same principles to the other and then adjust it for the others. Because like LinkedIn and YouTube, they're not the same, but they're similar. So you adjust the skill to fit different things. Just start with one and then scale up from there. And the best way I could describe this is the 10x that you could achieve is the floor of what your team used to do. So like the very, very bottom of what they're used to do. It's sort of like this thing, hey, this is what I'm hiring you for. Bare minimum, you have to do this. That floor is now raised to the ceiling. They're not doing more work necessarily. They're just working harder through the output of Claude that you set up using this video. To grab the master prompt to set up your knowledge base, check out our freebie down below. If you want more hands-on resources with a bunch of other business owners, check out our AI marketing community. Or if you want this built for yourself, check out our website down below. We've done this for dozens of companies. We'd love to help you scale your marketing in 2026 without working harder or hiring more people. But that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. It helps me out a lot. Watch this video next. I guarantee you'll like it even more. And I will talk to you soon. Have a good day.